folks, back on the Jared the Bossman show. What they're joined by the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks head coach Kyle Keller. They're playing real well. Has had my guy on the show since last year. Had to get me a guy on right now. So Coach Keller, glad to have you back on the show, man. I know life is good out there for you guys in Texas, man.
Oh man, that's great here. We get a little rain today, but you know you find some sun everywhere you go. Isn't that
You
right?
got that right. And Coach, I was telling Charlie off the air that, hey, man, I was in L.A. for All-Star Weekend. All kind of sun and fun, and I get back to Atlanta, like what you're doing today. Rain, 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 all around me everywhere I go.
Yeah, but I know in LA you were doing it right though, weren't you?
Oh, you know I was, Coach. It's good to get a little bit of a vacation from the Atlanta Hawks right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they struggling. But they got a great coach. You know, Bud can coach, and they're struggling. Their roster isn't quite what it was when he first started, and he can really coach though. I think.
Oh, he can. He's a great coach. I mean, I'll tell you one thing about those guys, Coach. Good example. Any team out there listening to this show or any team listening or watching, the Hawks play hard every night. They might not be the most talented bunch, but they play hard every night. Good listen, any college team, any high school team, by seeing guys persevering and playing hard, even though their talent might not be equal with their opponents.
Yeah, and that's the greatest talent I think a player can have, or credit a coach, is how hard that your team plays. And and I think he gets the most out of his guys that he can, and that's all you can ask for as an owner, or as an athletic director, or as a principal in high school, whatever. Is you max out, and I think he's maxing out what he's got on his team for sure.
And Coach,
and that's what we're trying to do with our bunch here.
You're doing the same thing, Coach. So you're doing the same thing, Coach. You're 11-3, conference play, 4-game winning streak. Got a big game tonight as well. And so talk to me, Coach. What's been the key factors for your team and the run you're on and the good run you've been on this whole season?
You know, we have great depth. I think we put multiple guys in multiple positions and really interchangeable. And I think as you go through the season and different guys are going to play well at different times, and it's hard to, in the 7-month season, then not everybody's going to max out. Not everybody's going to make shots every night, but we've had numerous different players play well where we scored multiple points. Keelan Harris, a kid from Atlanta, leads us in scoring as a sophomore, and he's played really well as a sophomore and averaging 16, 17 points a game, something like that. And he missed 3 or 4 games, and so we had other guys step up during that time. And we've got a new player, Shannon Bowes, a junior college kid who's still learning, but averaging about 15 or 16 points a game for us, and has had 3 or 4 games where he's had 30. And he's had other games where he hadn't played as well, but just different nights, different guys for us have played really well. I mean, and we're explosive scoring team, play at a fast pace, lead the country in forced turnovers, lead the country in steals, and we never press. It's all half-court man-to-man. So, we just try to deny passing lanes and be real, real aggressive.
And, Coach, what it tells me also is, Coach, you guys have game plan discipline. They listen to you in shoot-arounds and in film sessions, and they're sticking to what you're getting taught in practice. And when you have meetings, which is a great concept to have for a team, especially in your second year, it means guys are buying into your culture.
Well, I think our staff's done a great job recruiting. We had to totally rebuild this roster when we got here. And we only have a couple of guys that played for Coach Underwood, from the last year and this year. So we've got 9 new players, 10 now. And we have a great staff that really invests in our kids, and our guys really, they understand that what you talk about, culture of winning here at Stephen F. Austin, and they feel it. And they know, even though we're 22-5, whatever we are, 11-3 right now, 4 left, our season hadn't really started yet. We're just about, hopefully, as you get to March at this place here, that's when the season gets started. See what we can do at this point. We just put ourselves in a position to have some fun, to make some memories. That's what they think about around here.
You got there right. We're at Kyle Keller, Stephen F. Austin, Lumberjacks on the Bossman Show with me. Now, Coach Keller, I'm looking at your roster. You have a great mix of old and young. And that's a rare thing to have in college basketball these days. Either you're gonna be all the way old or you're gonna be all the way young, but you got that good balance in the middle. Is that what you want to achieve in recruiting with your staff to achieve good roster balance to make sure that you can turn over the roster and still be good and competitive no matter what year it is?
Yeah, you like to have good balance, that's for sure. And we like having the balance within our staff. And our staff, we talked about having, really good, mix of new players and older players. And obviously, not knowing what's going to happen with this transfer legislation that's out there. You have to keep getting talented players every year because you don't know what's going to happen. But you want to be as old as you can, I think, to have a chance to win games in the NCAA tournament. You can't be brand new. And, we do have 3 good seniors that help us, but are very, very unselfish, and that none of them lead us in any statistical category. But they really, really lead our locker room. And they've been great for us. And, our sophomores and juniors probably lead us in most. So I think we're not going anywhere. I like our team. I think we have a chance to be even better next year. We got a couple kids we signed. One of them is a top 10 player in the state of Texas that everybody kind of slept on. They didn't know who he was, and our staff did a great job evaluating him and figuring out who he was before he was.
Exactly. And Coach, like for me, Stephen F. Austin is a national brand, Coach, because even when I was down in my days in Florida, I knew about Stephen F. Austin. So it's a national brand, so you can recruit nationally. People hear that name and, oh, these guys in the tournament all the time. These guys are good. They win games. So just the brand name that you have nationally and the winning that you're doing, because you're doing a lot of winning. I've look at the stats, man. You guys got a lot of wins there, man. Home wins, the state of Texas. I mean, you got a lot of winning in there. So I think any guy would want to go there and play for a program that has history and a branding and a winning culture like your program has.
And Jerry, you're exactly right. I mean, this is and people outside of this area that don't really know basketball probably don't understand it. But for the last 10 years, this is the state's winningest program. The last 5 years, it is the Texas state's winningest program. And we won our league for our last 5 years in the NCAA tournament, won games in the NCAA tournament. I mean, this is a special place. And, there's a reason why, it's been great coaches before me, for sure, and there'll be great coaches after me. I have no ambition to be the best coach here. I don't that's not a dream of mine. That's not a goal of mine. But the my one goal I have is to coach the best team that ever played here. And that's only done by what you do in the NCAA tournament. And that's what we're trying to do with this team or some team after it.
You got that right, Coach. Explain to me the environment, Coach, in the William Johnson Coliseum, because I see you all win all. You just win streaks your own. What's it like to play there? Because I seem like it's like there's some magic when you guys play there. I feel you're just gonna win when you play at home.
Well, we're 85-3 since 2012 in our Coliseum here. We like to call it the Sawmill, and which is the college basketball's best record. We had, I think, 7,000 here, 7,200, a little over capacity. They're standing in the crosswalks. Last game that we played at home, and I don't know how many we'll have tonight. Wednesday night's kind of hard to hang the Bible bells here in East Texas, so we don't fill it up on every Wednesday night. But Saturday will be full. And there'll be people lined up trying to get in here on Saturday nights. And no disrespect to Nacogdoches, Texas, but not a lot going on here in Nacogdoches, except for Lumberjack basketball. And it's great to have an opportunity for kids and for myself to be at a place that where basketball is so important to these people here. And it's over, they played basketball here about 90 years, and they've won about 24, 25 conference championships. So they've won here. That's all they know. And it's just a draw, not only students, but to the alumni and the fans here in town, and it makes it really fun. I mean, it's a great environment. Our band does a great job, and promotions. We got a great scoreboard, very interactive. But when our guys walk down that tunnel, man, they feel like they're about 4 feet off that ground now. they don't even think about not winning that game.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I've seen it, coach. When I look at the ESPN threes and I look at the highlights, man, a lot of those guys when they play in that building, you already know what's up.
Yeah,
You already know what's about to happen.
trust me. We got the 4 left, 3 at home. We're focused one game at a time, but it's and we've been perfect at home again so far. And knock on wood, nothing else changes. But we're excited about where we're heading. Uh, so it'll be good. I mean, we've done what we're supposed to do so far.
And coach, I look at your stats, man. You got 6 guys at over 8 points a game, man, and 3 in double figures and balance rebounding. So 6 guys with at least 3 boards a game. And I'm thinking to myself as I look at these numbers, coach, you're emphasizing sharing that basketball, rebounding the glass, attacking the glass, and defending like crazy to get out in transition to be able to have these balanced numbers across the board.
Yeah, I think it's fun to play that way. I think guys enjoy playing the way we play. I mean, it's pressure defense and playing fast paced and getting up and down the court. And I think our guys really enjoy playing with each other. Our big deal right now is how connected can our team be, and if we can become connected on offense and defense, and never worry about who scores the basket. Just play for Stephen F. Austin and play for each other, then we have a chance to be successful. And I think our guys are kind of getting, as we're growing, I think we played better. I think our average margin of a lead at half the last 4 games has been like 21. So you mentioned this earlier, and there's a great point I thought that you said was, listening to Scout Report, taking heart in what coaching staff shows on video and preparation going into the game. And I think our guys have done a great job of taking that into the games as we move forward. And our average margin of victory has been, double figures. And, we went through a period in January I thought we weren't very locked in, where we went from the 109 conference where we beat LSU, lost at Missouri by a point, where we just ran out of time, lost by a couple points at Mississippi State, and where we were really the hunter. One at La Tech where they were 84-4 at that time, and we were just hunting people down. Then we got to league play. We became the hunted, and we didn't handle that very well. We got bored a little bit. I thought people would just kind of roll over for us. Well, that's not the case. And now we've kind of taken that hunter mentality back over again in the last few weeks and start playing better again.
Yes, indeed. And, Coach, looking at the standings in the Southland Conference, you got Nicholls State, you got Southeast Louisiana, yourself, Sam Houston State, and New Orleans battling for that number 1 seed conference tournament time.
Yeah.
And just talk about how the quality of basketball in the league and the quality of coaching. Because, I mean, when you got 5 teams with at least double-digit wins, Lamar is right behind at 9, and toward the team to 7 wins already in the conference play. I mean, this tells me this conference has got depth. Teams are good compared to each night, and this league is not easy to get through.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think that the top 7 or 8 in our league have gotten a lot better. It's the best. I was talking to a coach who's been in this league for about 6 or 7 years, and this morning he was telling me he thought it the best, 6 or 7, the best of the league had been since he'd been in it, as far as, 8 or 10 teams since he's been in it, which is good. It's good for the league. It makes us all better. And there's a couple teams at the bottom that aren't great probably. But, as far as the basketball goes, he thought it best had been. And, I know this, we played some teams that are doing well out in their own leagues outside of the non-conference, and the teams that we've beaten in our own league, pretty handily. They could go into their leagues and do very well, which makes, I'm excited that our league is getting better. I mean, it's good for us and good for our league, and it speaks well of the coaches and the commitment that our league's making. It makes it fun. I enjoy it. We got good guys, good coaches, and fun guys to compete with.
Yes, indeed. The Southland Conference does not be slept on by fans. I mean, they're missing a good brand of basketball when they don't check out you guys, for sure.
Yeah, and whoever represents our league in the NCAA tournament should be ballot tested, that's for sure.
Well, Coach, I'm wishing you best of luck tonight against Central Arkansas and this Saturday against Lamar. I mean, Coach, I hope you guys keep that winning going. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy for your program. I look forward to seeing you continue to be successful, having a show in the future, Coach.
Bossman, I appreciate it, and I hope you recover from LA and your All-Star weekend.
Hey, Coach, I will be by Monday when the Hawks get me back in the saddle because I took off Friday in Indiana, so I'll hopefully be back to normal on Monday night at Hills Arena.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me on so much. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate what you do for basketball.
Hey, you're welcome, Coach Keller. You have a great day, man. Talk to you real soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. It's Kyle Keller, the Bossman Show, people.
It's the Speaker Knockers.
All right, folks, we're back here on the JR the Boss Man Show. We're going to the MEAC conference, talk to the Hampton Pirates head coach, Buck Joyner. Coach Joyner, how things out there in Hampton, man, the real HU?
Things going well, man. We're riding a little win streak here. We got a lot of our guys back healthy, so we're feeling good about the way things are moving at this point.
And, Coach, besides the health of your team, what's been the key factors besides the health for your guys getting on the 6-game win streak you're on right now, been 10-4 MEAC plays, you head into the dog days of February, into that March there?
Yes, again, it's a tight race up in the conference right now. I think it's 1 to 2 games separate 4 or 5 teams. So these last 2 games are going to be very important. I think all the teams at the top, so a lot of us have to face each other for at least one of those games. So something going to shake out soon over the next couple of days.
I hear that, Coach. Now, Coach Joyner, I looked at your non-conference schedule, and I feel like it's really helped your guys a lot, toughened them up a bit, and the quality opponents you played, it really helped you guys as you got a healthier MEAC play. Is that a sentiment that you agree with here?
Yeah, I do. Every year we try to make sure that we play as competitive schedule as we possibly can. We try to play at least two, maybe 3 teams that are tournament teams at the BCS level. The type of teams that if you're blessed enough to make it out, you can. That's the type of team you're gonna face in that first round. So we try to schedule those, and then throughout the rest of the non-conference schedule, we do try to play some teams that we think that we have a good chance of winning, but we also try to play some teams that we think are MEAC level or above, so that we feel like we battle tested every night when we come into the conference.
Now, Coach, as far as scheduling games, I feel like because Hampton's a national brand, I've known about you guys for years. I put an HBCU grad myself, so I know about their perspective too. The Black College tours I went on. So when you try to schedule games, are high major teams or good major teams scared to play you guys because of the brand you've built? They know you guys play hard, you play together, and you're a great coach. So is it kind of hurt you, help you in scheduling wise non-conference?
Well, I appreciate all the latter part, but yeah, scheduling is a big problem for us because as I know, scheduling is better than 50% of the way that you want your team to perform that year. You don't want to schedule too hard so that you're so beat up, by the time you get to conference or during the stretch of conference that you can't perform at your level, and then you don't want to underschedule so that your team has the wrong idea going into conference. But for us, it's been a challenge every year because, we've been able to attain a certain level of success that, a lot of teams won't play us. I'm not saying that they're scared. It's that you have to schedule smart nowadays. Again, you can schedule yourself in or out of a winning season, or you can schedule yourself in or out of a job. So you have to try to put together a schedule that makes sense. And for us, that is challenging because of the success we've had over the last few years, or over the years that I've been here.
Yes, indeed. Now, Coach, looking at your roster, you've done a great job in recruiting and building this roster. You have a great mix of upperclassmen and lowerclassmen to play. You got a sophomore kid leading you and scoring, doing big things in Jermaine. We'll get to him a little later. But is this what you want when you're going recruiting, is to have a balanced roster and class balance on through all levels, whether it be the redshirt senior and junior level, for freshman, sophomore, transfers? I think you're doing a good job in that regard too, Coach.
Well, I think I've tried to focus on what the wave of recruiting is. Now it's a heavy transfer thing going on around the country, and the toughest part for us is a lot of the transfers are leaving our level. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of the transfers were coming from levels that are higher than, or considered to be higher than us. And we would get some of those kids. Those kids are staying at the same level, or at least going to that higher mid-major level, because everybody's looking for that experience, you know, to be able to challenge those big boys when you get the opportunity to. So I kind of took that and went in reverse. You know, I felt like if we could get the level of a higher level of freshmen to commit to us, because he does not want to wait to see what's going on with the transfers and wait on everybody else. Let's take those kids, and then it may take a year or two to develop them. But again, we take that and develop our roster and the foundation of our program that way, and then add 1 or 2 transfers. Not go get 5 or 6 transfers and maybe 1 freshman. I took the reverse route, and it's kind of worked for us, and we'll continue to do that as long as the recruiting phase is going like it is. If it changes, then we have to adapt to what's going on and figure out which way works for us.
We have Buck Joyner here, the Hampton Pirates head coach, here on the Bossman Show with me today. Now, Coach Joyner, I think the location of Hampton is a great location. I think that helps you as well, getting guys to want to come out to HBCU, have that experience with HBCU, get good tutelage, good coaching, and good education as well.
Yeah, I mean, 757 is a beautiful area, no doubt. And one thing I can say about this area, it's a college area. You know, we don't have to compete with a lot of professional teams and things like that for attention and for exposure. And you know, kids can come here, and in this area, they know who you are, because we're a heavy college area, and and the media and everybody else concentrate on our collegiate teams a lot. And also outside of athletics, the university. We got a beautiful university. We got an 8,000-seat arena. We sit around we basically, the Chesapeake is around our campus, so we're surrounded by water. And then again, our academic area speaks for itself. Also, I think outside of kids, the parents understand that HBCU or not, a Hampton education is a good education, and you get a chance to do some things once you leave here.
Yes, indeed. Now, Coach, I looked at your stats, man. Now, you got 8 guys averaging 6 points a game. You guys in double figures. You got balanced rebounding with 8 guys with over 3 per game. So I'm thinking, looking at these stats, Coach, you're emphasizing defense, rebounding, sharing the basketball, and being connected together and synced up.
That's all we emphasize. Again, we try to tell them to let our offense be dictated by our defense. We don't want the game dictated by how much we score. And ironically, once our defense improved and got to where we wanted it to be, I mean, we've been averaging probably over 80 points a ball game, or about the last 8 to 10 ball games. And the other thing we do stress is take care of the ball. We can take care of the ball, we can defend, and we can rebound and get in transition. We like our chances against anybody in the conference or a lot of teams that we play.
Now, Coach, how big is sophomore Jermaine Merrill been for your team this year? And what does his contribution mean to the team and the program as a whole? And I know you got to be glad you got him for at least 2 more years as well, Coach.
No doubt. And the big part about Jermaine, a lot of people look at his scoring, but he's been a scorer his whole life. He averaged 30, 33, 34 points a ball game in high school. But the biggest part to his growth for us is, 1, his leadership ability. He's become a much better leader, and leader by example more than anything else. 2, he's become a more vocal leader and student of the game. So he watches more film. He pays attention to the other guys. He understands now what it takes to make other people better, not just to get a shot off or to score himself. And his willingness and hunger to win is contagious for the rest of the team. Man, we got a large group of guys that they care more about winning than they do anything else, and he's the leader of that.
Now, Coach, as you prepare this weekend's home game against Morgan State, what will be the points of emphasis to your team as you get ready to play these guys, and what kind of challenges does Morgan State pose based on what you've seen from them on film?
First of all, they got the 2 best players, Carr and Kenley. Kenley's a heck of a scorer. He's a 6'5", 6'6" wing, which is a challenge for anyone. Carr can do a little bit of everything. He can score the ball. He can rebound the ball. He can play outside. He can play inside. So the first thing you have to do is be able to control them 2 and try to limit as much as you can what they do. Second of all, understand that Coach Bossman have been in these situations millions of times, so you know that they're going to be well prepared. So the biggest thing that we have to do is understand the magnitude of the game and what we're playing for, and be comfortable in that. And then second of all, try to impose our will and what we do well on what they do, and understand that you got a home game, and maybe you can limit a few of their shots and make a few shots that you probably wouldn't. But again, we're going to do what you talked about earlier. We're going to concentrate on rebounding the ball and making sure we defend.
Gotta believe that, Coach. And Coach, that's one I got for you is talk about the quality of coaching and talent in the league. I've had on Coach Ryan Ritter and Horace Broadnax on the show as well, and I feel like the MEAC does not get the love it needs. I know I went to a HBCU myself, but the MEAC has good ball in the MEAC as well. So talk to the listeners here who are maybe unfamiliar with Savannah State or Bethune-Cookman about really what they missed up there at Hampton and the league itself.
Well, I think, beyond those three you named, that there's some great coaches in this league. And, of course, it's almost like the old saying, if you go chasing accolades and chasing people approval, sometimes it gets harder to get it. The proof eventually becomes in the pudding. But at the end of the day, I think around the league, we have some exceptional coaches. You got Lavelle Moulton at Central. You got the young man, Warren Dixon, who I think took that job late. And for what I think he's able to do and trying to build there, I think he's doing an outstanding job. Coach Ritter, a young guy down at Bethune, again, another guy that's doing an outstanding job. To add to the quality of coaches that we have that were already here, I think Coach Johnson at Rob at Norfolk State, consistently a 20-game winner, consistently in the top of the league, consistently plays well in the non-conference. Lavelle Moulton. Kevin Nickelberry, and the list goes on. Again, I don't know that, and I'm with you. I don't think that we get our just due, but at the end of the day, you got a job to do it, and the best job you got is the one that you own. So if they're the one that you're in, so that if they're happy with you, then be happy with that and keep it moving.
Yes, and then with Coach Joyner, we definitely thank you for coming on the show today. We wish you the best luck this weekend, and I hope to talk to you down the road, man.
Hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you having me on, man.
All right, folks, it's Buck Joyner on the Bossman Show, people.
All right, folks, we're back in the Gerald the Bossman Show, and we're joined by the coach of the Southeast Louisiana Lions, Ladner, in the Bossman Show. Coach Ladner, how are things down there in Hampton, man?
Going great, JR. Again, very honored to be on your show. Like talking line basketball that anybody wants to listen and talk about it. My favorite subject.
Yes, indeed. And Coach, so Southland Conference, man, you're 12-3. You got a great win streak going on right now. So talk to us, Coach. What's been the key factors for your team in conference play, and why you're playing so good in this streak right now as you guys wind down season in February into early March?
Well, JR, I think it's a combination of a number of things. I think that we've got a team that has some experience. And I think that as you get into conference play, the ability, obviously, to not only win at home but win on the road, as you know, is a critical thing. We've been fortunate to have some success on the road, which has kept us in the conference race, and I think that has to do with our experience, particularly in our backcourt. Marlon Veal's a very experienced point guard as a junior, and then we have two seniors that started the 2 and 3 position for us, and Jabbar Singleton and Joshua Fillmore, that bring a wealth of experience, and their experience, in close basketball games has paid big dividends for us.
And Coach Ladner, having an older group has to be wonderful because you don't have to worry about them not being prepared for the game plan. They're disciplined with practice. They're disciplined with their off court work. They know what you expect from scouting report wise. So that's be lovely knowing that. And also with the games becoming more important here in February and into March, they won't get tight or tense when it gets tight in that second half.
Well, I certainly hope so. They haven't had that tendency yet. Actually, I was on a show out of New Orleans last night, a TV show, and the man brought up a statistic that I had not realized, and that we were 5-1 in games that were decided by 4 points or less. So he asked me what the reason for it. I said, first of all, the good Lord intervening is probably one that we won those close games. But the bottom line is it's experience. It's experience for our players, and just as you touched on, Jr. The not panicking in situations. They've been in those kind of tight game situations before. The ability to make offensive and defensive plays, or maybe sometimes it's been to sniff out what the other team may be doing offensively, and that reverts back to game plan. They understand the importance of mental preparation as well as physical preparation, but they've been there and done that too. So it's I would, if I had to pinpoint it, certainly having good basketball players, but having experienced good basketball players, I think has been the major reason why.
And, Coach, especially at your level, mid-major level, you have to be old, in my opinion. When you have experienced guys at the mid-major level, you can do damage and be dangerous this time of year because, like we just touched on, the experience and not panicking, being poised, and understanding the game plans and know what other team's trying to do. You can sniff it out because you've seen it before for 4 or 5 years, depending on how long they've been there, Coach.
Correct. This is my 4th season, and there is no question. This is certainly our most experienced team. It's a team that started as freshmen. A number of our players started as freshmen 4 years ago when we arrived, or maybe a sophomore, or maybe my second year. That the guys that are now juniors, and so I think that has paid. That they've been in the program for a while. I think that, and you touched on what I think is a great point, Jr. In the fact that the model, I think, for schools like Southeastern Louisiana, that and we haven't had an NBA player, but we certainly hopefully will have one soon, and that will come with, obviously, as our program continues to grow and we get successful, maybe we'll be able to recruit those guys. But right now, we're not North Carolina, we're not Kentucky, and guys that have a lot of guys going to the NBA, after their first or second year of school. And so, therefore, we have to do it the other way. We've got to do more of the Butler model or the Gonzaga model. Well, Gonzaga's actually has changed a little bit, but when they began to be successful on the national level, and that's doing it with players that have been in our program for a while. So that's our way of countering the maybe one and done or two and done type NBA players, doing it with players with experience.
Yes, indeed. Well, Southeast Louisiana Lions head coach Ladner with me on the Bossman Show, people, talking about his program in the Southland Conference. Their coach, speaking of the Southland Conference, that's a race for that top spot, man. You got you guys, San Luis State, Stephen F. Austin, Nichols. I mean, New Orleans is right there as well. I mean, the league, to me, coach, so many teams with winning records, so many teams just playing well. The depth of your conference is amazing. And I feel like people have slept on it and don't really know about the balls going on down there in the Southland Conference.
Well, JR, you're hitting another good point. Obviously, you're doing your homework and you keep up with basketball. And I'll say this, again, it's my 4th year there. One thing that I didn't realize was how good of basketball is played in the Southland Conference. It doesn't get, you use the term slept on, it's absolutely slept on nationally, although it really shouldn't be. If you look at what our league champion, Stephen F. Austin, you can look at the success not last year, UNO, or University of New Orleans won it last year, but Stephen F. Austin just 2 years ago, they smacked West Virginia in the first round of the NCAA. A Notre Dame fluke keeps them from getting in the Sweet 16. And then you talk about the parity in our league. What I found when I arrived there was the talent was a lot stronger and better than I actually had any idea about. The coaching is outstanding top to bottom. It's incredibly balanced, and I'm not surprised at all about the log jam there at the top going into these last 3 or 4 games with 3 or 4 games left in league play. That you still have 5 teams that have the possibility of winning the regular season championship. It's a very impressive league. Take us out of the mix. I'm saying that as a compliment to our fellow schools and coaches. You better be ready to play every night, or you're going to get beat. That's for sure.
You got that right, Coach, and that's what you want in a league, a mid-major league, where every team is a tough out. You got quality up and down the league. Now, I feel like what's good about your league is even the bottom of your league is even gotten better.
Yes.
So when the bottom's getting better, it only can make the top even better. So it makes everybody better. So I feel like, hey, is the league as a whole improving? That means the league gets more national run, more people notice it, and hopefully, this RPI and Ken Palm make it a lucky at-large second bid out of the league, depending on how you guys play non-conference.
Well, no question about that, and I think you're beginning to see, and I can just tell you from the inside of things, you're beginning to see our an emergence of the Southland Conference and the school administrators, particularly your presidents and athletic directors, beginning to see how much basketball can be a vehicle to improving the national stature of the university. And I think what you're going to see is more money being put into each of the individual programs. Stephen F. Austin has already done it, and you're beginning to see a trickle-down effect where the other schools are beginning to make more investment into their basketball programs, beginning to see some success, particularly in the non-conference. You'll begin to see, I think, a number of Southland teams beginning to play less and less money games in the non-conference, giving the schools a better shot. But what you've also seen in recent years is a number of quality non-conference wins, teams going outside of the conference in money games and winning those games. So those are all great signs, and I think within just a few years you're going to see the Southland moving up the ladder in the conference RPI, and as you mentioned, KenPom, and as a whole. And then, again, top to bottom, you'll see all the teams improving. It's already happened.
You got there right, Coach, and I feel like your non-conference schedule, Stephen F. Austin non-conference schedule, New Orleans, all you guys have went out and played quality teams and got quality experience. Now, I want to ask you how it's fit for your team, Coach. You feel like that non-conference schedule has helped you guys as you guys into the South Carolina play? I feel like, Coach, the schedule you all played on non-conference is only helping you right now because I feel like it's brought your team close together. You got some connectivity. You felt some higher major competition, and now you're getting your own conference. Like, hey, we've faced people at this level before. It's all good. We can beat these guys in our league.
Well, again, another great point. I think that, JR, when we played 13 non-league games this year. 9 of those were on the road. And so what the positive side of that is, a lot of the teams, a lot of your Power 5 teams never leave home. They never play a non-league game on the road. Never play a game on the road at all until most of the time, unless they're in a exotic tournament, maybe in Hawaii or something, or out of the country. They rarely will play anyone off campus. And if they do play someone, it's normally a neutral site game. Well, we turn that into a positive because we're used to playing on the road. In fact, I mentioned being on a TV show out of New Orleans last night, and the host asked me the same thing. He said, and I said, our guys are used to playing on the road. It's no big deal to them to play on the road. It's no big deal to play in a challenging environment for them. They've done it. They've done it multiple times. And as you referring back to the team with a lot of experience, and us happen to have a lot of experience, they've done it time after time after time. So, once you've gone through something, at first it may be a little bit startling to you, but after a while it's not that big a deal. I know just over the last couple of years, and we use this in recruiting in a positive way. You can go to certain schools and you may just play a lot of mid or low major teams. Well, we're going to play an incredibly attractive non-conference schedule. We've been to Oklahoma, we've been to Oklahoma State, we've been to Florida State, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Cincinnati. We've been to Gonzaga. We've been to Cal. I mean, I'm leaving out a bunch. We can go on and on about the experiences of that our players have had in those type of environments. And again, so when we get back down to league play, going to play 2 weeks ago in an incredibly packed environment down in Thibodaux, Louisiana, at Nicholls State, in a heated rivalry game that had a lot at stake. It's not that big a deal. We're seasoned for those type of events, as well as the other teams in our league as well. I think a lot of those teams experience the same type of thing. So it makes a big difference at this time of year, where every game is absolutely critical, and we're fighting for the Southland Conference Championship.
And Coach, one more non-conference schedule, Coach. I can't even imagine, because you all are actually good, how about just don't want to play you guys because you're actually good and can go on the road and beat them? They don't want to pay you to beat them, so I can only imagine the despair you have trying to schedule games with people to get them to play you.
Well, Jr. When we arrived, and I say we because I give credit to had a great coaching staff. But when we arrived 4 years ago, we're finishing up our fourth season now. We probably could have scheduled 1,000 games. I mean, we literally anybody would. We had some teams want not only playing us home and home, they want to play double home. Coach, we'll play you 4 times. But as the program has progressed over the last couple of years, and we've been fortunate to make great progress each year, the number of teams willing to play us anymore has dried up. The number of phone calls that we get concerning scheduling, emails have become less and less, and that's one of the goals that we had when we got there. We want our schedule to be tough to complete in our non-conference, and that's a good sign that that's happening. A lot of people are wanting to play you and willing to pay you a lot of money to do that. That's generally not a good sign. We want it to be tough to complete our schedule because therefore there's an amount of respect for us out there, and fortunately we've been able to experience that here in the last couple of years.
And, Coach, I looked at your team stats, Coach, and I love how you have balanced scoring across the board with 7 guys averaging over 6 points a game, 3 of them double figures. You have balanced rebounding, 5 guys over 4 a game. So it tells me, Coach, that you're preaching sharing the shadow basketball, defend like crazy, attack this glass, let's get out here and play some good team offense and get these wins and rack them on up each night out here in the Southeastern Conference and beyond.
Well, we certainly, I think any basketball coach is going to preach team play. We preach it on both ends, and the great thing about it is we have a number of young men that understand that as well, that they achieve a heck of a lot more. I always tell our players, if you were truly selfish, you were really, really, truly selfish, you would be a team guy because you're gonna get more books. You've got a chance to be more successful, opportunities to accrue more stats, which therefore is going to, help showcase you for professional basketball, whether it be in the NBA or in the United States NBL or the G League now, as we should say, or foreign league. And there's a lot of ways, to make money. So, but if I was truly selfish, I would be a team player because our guys have bought into that. They don't really care who gets the credit. We've got an outstanding group of young men, high character young men. All of our players, JR, every player that has exhausted their eligibility in the last 4 years have also obtained degrees. Many of them have also gotten their master's degrees or dual degrees. So there's something we're really proud of. Our APR is 1,000%. I don't want to get off the radio without mentioning that. All those mamas out there wonder where to send their sons. We got a great place for them to send them, and we want to ascend to the national level, and that's why I'm so thankful to be on your show. But absolutely, we preach team basketball, but we also have a group of young men that understand that's how you win basketball games too, when it doesn't matter who's getting the credit. Also, we've got a lot of guys that deserve credit.
And, Coach, I love what you said about the APR and all your young men attaining degrees because I feel like that part gets left out a lot, Coach. Student-athlete. It gets left out a lot. It's most come from college to be the athlete, but no, you want to get that degree because when basketball's over, you have something to fall back on. And always, that degree, nobody can take that degree from you. It's always going to have your name on it where you graduated from, no matter what you do, until the day the good Lord calls you home.
Absolutely. I grew up the son of a high school coach, JR, so I understand the importance of education, and all of us could just give volumes of stories about guys that have been used. And then one thing we preach to our young men is, don't let people use you. Don't let people use you. Don't when that ball stops bouncing and you've done everything. And sadly in our profession, there are people like that. And as soon as they've done whatever they could do for the program, you finished with them, you used them up, and that's just not right. And I don't want our young men looking back in 10 or 15 years and saying, Coach, we did everything I could do for Coach. Now I don't have anything to show for it. He won't take my call. And we have a family-type atmosphere there and at Southeastern Louisiana. And all of our, like I said, it's just important. They may not like it every day. I tell you that. I can tell you that, JR, because we're on them, about academics.
I can imagine, Coach.
And that's what, I met with one of them the other day, a little bit late for a class, and he and I were having a little motivational session. I said, why are you fighting me on this? Why are you fighting me so hard? We want to make sure you take advantage of this scholarship that you have. And I said, you'll appreciate this in 10 or 15 years from now when that ball stops bouncing. You will appreciate, and you'll look back and go, gosh, I'm glad Coach and them were hard on me about academics as well. So it's important, and it's something that we take great pride in as well. We take great pride in our success on the floor, and we take just as much pride in our success off the floor. And as we know, in 10, 15, or 20 years, those young men that were successful basketball players that by virtue of playing in a successful basketball program, they're going to be successful in whatever career that they may choose. And again, obviously, we would love for them to have an opportunity to play professional basketball, and most of them will. Most of them will, whether it be in the United States or outside of our borders. But we also want them to know as soon as that ball stops bouncing, I've got something to fall back on, and now I'm going to start a different career. So, that's something we're very proud of, and I appreciate you bringing that out.
And, Coach, as you prepare for this weekend's game against Northwestern State, what would be the points of emphasis that you're going to preach to your team as you get ready for that game? And also, what kind of challenges does Northwestern pose to you that you're seeing on film that you got to be really locked into this week?
Well, Northwestern has had some, unfortunately, has two, Jalen West was their a potential player of the year candidate, and he was coming back. He was in a rare situation that he was granted a 7th year of eligibility, which is incredibly rare in the NCAA. But he was, did not make it through about half the season, and is no longer with their team. And so they lost him. They lost another point guard was an outstanding player that was a senior. So they've had. I'm saying that because Coach Mike McConaughey there has been there a long time. He's the dean of the coaches in our league, and he does a great job, and they've had a lot of success. But they've had some unfortunate circumstances this year. They have not won a league game up until now. They do play at Incarnate Word in San Antonio tonight, and they're going to have an opportunity to win that game. But Northwestern, on our schedule, that's the team that Southeastern Louisiana has played the most. They're a long-time rival. Played hundreds of games against each other, and it's so you can throw out the record book. We know that we're going. I think our SID told me our record in all time at games being played at Northwestern are six. I think we're 16-43. So we haven't, as a program over the years, we haven't had a lot of success. There, that's one thing we're preaching to them. We were fortunate to beat them in Hammond earlier in the year, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We cannot. We basically, JR, we've got a 3-game season. The ball is in our court. If we win those 3 games, we're going to win the Southland Championship. We can't overlook anybody. Our players know what stake. They're getting bombarded with it every day. So they know what we have to do to be successful. Northwestern is a great rivalry of ours. We'll get their best shot, that's for sure. But we never spend a ton of time really worrying about our other opponents. We can't control what's going on in their locker room or in their practice floor on their floor. What we have to do is try to be the best that we can be, and just make sure that the fact that we bring our A game. There's too much at stake to stump, and stump our toe, so to speak, and not do the best we can. If they're going to beat us, let's make sure that they beat us with us playing their best. Playing our best, and we expect them to be at their best as well. But we expect a really, really hard-fought battle against a rival.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, Coach, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show today, talking about your programs, Southeast Louisiana, the Lions, Coach Ladner. You've been great with your time today. Look forward to talking to you, Dean, down the road, because you've been great to me tonight, Coach, and I'm wishing you all the best of luck, man, because I really enjoyed our talk this evening.
JR, I feel the same way, and I'm very honored, and I truly mean that, and thankful that you would think enough of us to have you on your show, and we'd be honored if you'd ever have us on again. I will tell you that. So thank you so much, and look forward to talking to you in the future.
Yes, indeed. Well, Coach Ladner, you take it easy. We'll definitely have you on real soon, man.
Sounds good. Take care, and thank you again.
Alright, folks, back is top 3 with Tyndall, JR, Coach, and John's in traffic still, people. We're sorry about that. Hey, I'm sorry, John, in traffic. But, Coach, the standings, I mean, we're not looking great. We're not looking hot. We didn't get to put John in the cellar, Coach. We're 12-12, and he's 11-13. So he gonna make that NIT right now, Coach.
Well, he's still in last place, so technically that is a cellar, right?
Yes, indeed. He's still in last place in that cellar. So, Coach, this week you got some good games for us as well. Last week we will recap last week's games. We from Texas A&M and Arkansas. Arkansas won at Bud Walton Arena. Villanova won to Xavier and beat Xavier. And West Virginia lost to Kansas. Kansas got that together at home, Coach. So we thought they would be the other way around, but somebody got their act together there at the Fall Fieldhouse there, Coach.
Yeah, Kansas surprisingly has really struggled at home, but they've lost a few, which is very unlike a Bill Self team. But they won a barn burner against West Virginia. That was one of the best college games I've watched all year.
Yes, indeed, Coach. So that's our records right now. 24 games in, 12-12. Coach and myself, John 11-13. This week we're going to talk about Kansas again, Coach. They're going to play Lubbock and Texas Tech, Coach. Chris Beard's guys played well all year, but I think beating Bob Huggins in West Virginia, Kansas got their mojo back, Coach. It's a road game at Lubbock, but I feel like Kansas is riding high right now. They see the regular season title within reach. Bill Self got in his guys' butts. They're playing harder, they're defending better, they're doing things like he wants them to do. I think they're going to go on the road, and the mystique of that Kansas mystique will overcome Texas Tech, and ultimately they'll end up beating the Red Raiders down there in Lubbock, Coach.
Well, I don't disagree with too much you said. That they got their swagger back. They've owned the Big 12 for 13 seasons, but I think that atmosphere at Texas Tech is going to be the most electric it's ever been in the history of their program. Their fans, their coaches, their team knows exactly what they're fighting for. And I think that Chris Beard and his staff, a good friend of mine, Al Pinkins, is on his staff, will find a way to win that game. And I think end up having at least a share of the Big 12 title with Kansas, if not winning that thing outright after they win on Saturday.
All right, and John's going to shoot Texas Tech in that game, Coach. I'm going to Kansas. You and John are going to Texas Tech in that game. And in a game I will be at Saturday, Tennessee State at Belmont. We know TSU's my alma mater. Dana Ford's a good friend of mine. I respect Rick Byrne a lot. And Coach, as you know, TSU beat Belmont at Ginger Center February the 8th. And I think Dana Ford is coaching for his next gig, if you ask my opinion on that. I feel like if he wins this game against Belmont at the Kirby Event Center, does some overseas tournament, he may probably somebody gonna come get that guy. He's up and rising coaching there to get the game here. And just they played Tennessee Tech this week. Belmont has also Jacksonville State and Ray Harper, those guys. I just feel like, Coach, the Tennessee State Tigers, what I've been told by Dana Ford and some players, they're ready for Belmont. They want to go over there on their senior day and on their homecoming and get them. They're sick of Belmont being the top of national OVC. So I'm gonna ride with TSU. They talking a big game right now. I feel like they might, because they did on the 8th of February, they'll knock them off over the Curry Event Center finally. And John's going to TSU as well, Coach.
Well, I just think it's a game that's, correct me if I'm wrong, you say that's at TSU, right?
It's at Curry.
Or it's at Belmont?
It's over there at Belmont, over Curry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure on that. Well, Tennessee State, as you mentioned earlier, got the win in the first meeting, which I thought was very, very impressive. Belmont's been the best team in the league from start to finish. And I have a ton of respect for Dane. I agree with you. He's a rising star. I have just as much respect for Rick Byrd. He's kind of the grizzled old veteran, if you will. And I think that game being at Belmont and maybe a little bit of revenge or payback, if you will, Belmont's going to find a way to get that win and keep control and command of the OVC.
Yes, indeed. So we got John and I going to Tennessee State. Coach is going to Belmont. Last game of the day is old SEC West battle, Coach. They're SEC West when they went away from the divisions. That's Arkansas with Alabama. 8-7 right now. Arkansas, Alabama is just up there in the standings as well. I feel like this, Coach, it's gonna be a home game for me for Alabama. I just feel like Avery Johnson's guys at home, at Tuscaloosa, Arkansas, they play well at home. They don't charge very well. That's never happened. Like, they go to Bud Walton, they got you, but on the road, it's like, okay, we will see here and there. I feel like just on the strength of them being a home coach, they fight for SEC's tournament seeding and standing, trying to get in off the bubble, get in the tournament for good, not have to worry about the first four, the bubble. Like, Alabama, Avery Johnson is going to come. They're going to come in there. His boys going to be ready. Going to coach them up real good. They're going to end up beating Arkansas that game, Coach. And John's going with Arkansas.
Well, okay. I thought that was an interesting game. That's why I put it on the slate. I think, as you mentioned, both teams are right there on the bubble. They're fighting not just for SEC seeds for the tournament, but possibly an at-large berth in the NCAA tournament. So it's a huge game for both programs. Avery, I agree with you. He's done an outstanding job in his short time at Alabama. But here's the thing. I think Arkansas has some seasoned, older guys. They haven't been great on the road all year, but they know how important this game is. Not that Alabama doesn't, because they do, but they got a bunch of young guys, and the pressure of trying to get an NCAA tournament, I think, will take its toll on Alabama. That's why I'm going to go with the Razorbacks in Arkansas to find a way to win this one on the road at Alabama.
So to recap here, guys, we have this. We got, I'm going Kansas, Coach, and John are going Texas Tech. John and I are going Tennessee State. Coach is going Belmont. And I'm going Alabama. Coach and John are going the Razorbacks. So this week, we already know our movement. We won't be so close this week, we hope. based on what we got going on.
There's going to be some great games. I think that Texas Tech game against Kansas is going to be electric. And what that environment will be like, I think, will be simply amazing. And it's getting closer to tournament time, so every game is so pivotal and important, and a lot of fun. Another good games this week, and look forward to watching. And always appreciate you having me on your show, buddy.
No doubt, Coach. Hey, you're the best, man. You have all kind of fun with us, man. You pick your ass off, Coach, even though you're wrong sometimes.
All right, my man. You have a great week.
All right, Coach. We'll talk to you, man.
See you, buddy.
All right, top of the Tyndall, people. We out.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this.